So what do we
Our
got?
first question is from Christopher, and Christopher wants to know, I have a friend and his wife's mother has threatened to call immigration on him, even though he's a client at your firm. He's been here for a year already. Does he have anything to worry about? Is the real question.
Listen, I mean, anybody can call immigration all day long. I am sure they get calls all day long. Go get this guy, go get that guy. What my advice to people is you can't worry about what you can't control, okay? And number two, the odds, even under Donald Trump, the odds that immigration gets a random call, hey, here's a tip, there's someone out of status in Brooklyn. Wow, that's half the borough. I mean, come on, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know if it's half the borough, but it's certainly a lot of people. I don't think immigration is going to be like, hey, thanks, we're on it right now. And then, they go straight down to the, So, I mean, the odds of anybody coming and knocking on your door, what I tell people is, here's the telephone number, go knock your socks out.
There you go.
Socks off. Socks out or socks off? Either way.
Socks off.
Socks off.
Go knock your socks off. Okay, so don't worry about it. All right, next.
Theodon has like an 8-part question. The first part, I know.
I think this is for Punxsutawney Phil. No, okay,
This
go ahead.
is definitely one for Punxsutawney Phil.
All right.
The first one is, my dad is a 10-year green card holder. 3 years has passed. Can he go ahead and apply for his citizenship?
How did he get his green card?
Well, that's not in any of the 8 parts.
You know what? There's a Rodney Dangerfield movie when he goes back to school and he's got a pass. And the teacher said, you know that, Back to School? It's a great movie. And he goes, okay, Rodney, I got one question for you in 37 parts. and then, he's like sweating and he goes, the answer to question 37, part A, 2, 1, Roman numeral 4 is 3. And he goes, yes, that's it. All right, keep going.
Hilarious.
Keep going. I am a whiz with old movies. I don't watch new movies, but
I noticed that.
I'm a whiz with old movies. Yeah.
And you and I were nerding out over Mel Brooks all week.
That's right.
Week.
We were.
Yeah. We were, and I think we're also maybe the only 2 people who know History of the World
That's
Part
right.
1 that well.
That is right.
So the second question is it okay for the father, Theodon's father, and his wife to file separate tax returns?
If you're okay, so I'm going to assume that the father got his green card through the wife, and he's now had his green card for 3 years, and he wants to file for his citizenship, and the answer is yes, you can file for your citizenship, provided you're in a bona fide marriage with your wife. And how does immigration determine bona fide marriage, Squeeze? We say this every day on our show. Eventually, it will sink through to people. You have to live together and have a financial relationship together.
Yep.
So how do you prove you have you do your joint tax returns. If you're not doing joint tax returns, you do not have a financial relationship with each other. They are going to deny him based on not being in a bona fide marriage with his wife for 3 years if they start doing taxes separately. So he can do his taxes separately, but will not become a U.S. citizen until at least 5 years. That's your choice. Because at 5 years, you don't got to prove bona fide marriage.
So then the last part of his question is it okay for the dad to file for his 8-year-old son, so for the dad's son?
Why can't the wife do it if she's the citizen? If not, the dad, because it'll be faster, but if not, the dad can do it, it'll be 2 years, of course. He should be doing it. Either way, but someone's got to do it. The wife's faster.
Cool Chick asks, my friend did his citizen... Cool Chick.
By the way, can we stop a second? Everyone's got to share.
Yeah, you know what?
Squeeze.
You know what I'm going to tell everybody to do?
Yeah, what?
Do us a favor.
What?
I need everybody to join at least one group today.
Join a group?
Yeah.
What kind of group? Like a group online or just any group?
A group on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yeah, a Facebook group that you think could benefit from actually watching the Brad and Squeeze show.
And then tell them about it.
That is your one good deed for the Brad and Squeeze show today.
Everyone has a purpose.
Everyone has
you
a
have a purpose every day for waking
And I've been
up.
sitting here thinking and sharing. I'm like, if everyone joined just one group,
Just one group.
just one.
Every group would have another member.
There you go.
Right.
You know, and then share the bread and
All right,
squeeze
we
up.
have a graphic squeeze.
Yeah.
For the 3 people who do not know how to share, who watch our show.
For the 3 people.
For the 3 people who don't, we have this graphic that we can share.
So let's invest some
There
time
it
to
is.
do that.
There it is. Okay. This is how you share squeeze.
Yeah, let's see.
This is how you do it. Let's see. Yeah, what is happening here? Are they actually sharing here? The show is so informative and funny.
Yep.
What's so funny about this show?
We are.
All right, Kim, let's go back to our questions. I just
We
wanted
are.
everyone to share.
Okay. Blake asks, if you used to work on a farm and they gave you a social security number, can you use the number if you're married to a U.S. citizen and she filed for her taxes and your papers have been filed?
Yes, you should file a joint tax return with your U.S. citizen. When you get a social security number, that social security number, as long as it was obviously issued legitimately, is
Right.
good for life. You don't change that number. You have it even if you're not work authorized. You use that social security number to pay your taxes, because whether you're work authorized or not, you got to pay your taxes. And also, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, the fact that you are not work authorized and you worked is not a bar to getting a green card. So for all of those reasons, use the number and pay your taxes jointly.
Cool Chick asks,
Doesn't she
my
have a lot of
friend
questions, Cool Chick?
We actually never got to her
Oh,
question
okay.
fully. Cool Chick asks, my friend did his citizenship a few years ago, and he had to pass the exam, but he didn't have any tax papers at the time. So they asked him to send in 5 years of back taxes, but the tax guy ran out of time and did not send when he was supposed to send the taxes. So now the friend is going to put in for his citizenship again, but wants to know if he's going to have any problems, and should he just bring his taxes next time around?
He should have a good lawyer representing him and then make sure that all of his taxes are filed for every year in which he worked. And for the years he didn't work, he better be able to prove how he supported himself, because they're going to believe that you worked and didn't pay taxes otherwise.
Carol asks, I traveled on my I-512 advanced parole without a problem. Also, how long is the wait after a VAWA I-485 interview to get the green card?
All right, so she had a statement. She traveled without a problem. We're happy about that. And then after you get your VAWA interview, as long as it all went well, you should get your green card within 60 days. I don't know what happens at the interview.
No, she was wondering if she can travel
The answer
for
is
her.
yes. As if you have a
with her-
VAWA, if you have a pending VAWA adjustment, you absolutely can travel on the advanced parole if you have it.
Perfect. Carly asks, if a petitioner owes a lot of taxes, is that going to affect the application, or will it be fine once there's a second person sponsoring them?
The fact that you owe taxes shouldn't be a problem as long as you have a tax return filed that shows you earn that money for that particular year. And if you didn't earn a sufficient amount of money, you could always get a second affidavit of support. They never question in the affidavit of support, by the way, you earned $100,000, but you owe $200,000 in taxes. That question, how much you owe in taxes, doesn't come up. It's just how much did you earn.
Just how much did you earn?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Kimmy asks, my U.S. visa expired in 2012. When I'm applying now, would it be classified as a new application or a renewal?
A renewal.
Karen asks, if you marry someone in their country and they come to America on a tourist visa after getting married, can they adjust their status here in the U.S.?
If they wait 90 days and they came with the intention of visiting and changed their mind after 90 days.
Junior wants to know, I'm married to an American citizen. We have a daughter. I have 2 from a previous relationship. I got locked up, but the charge was dismissed. I went to an immigration detention center afterwards, and the deportation officer told me that I can't get my green card because I came here on a crew visa. I have to go back home. So now I'm in Jamaica, and my application is still pending for my I-130 and my I-485. How much longer do you think I have to wait?
You got a big problem because you can't do an I-485 if you're in Jamaica. The I-485 is to adjust your status in the United States, so you don't even know what's going on with your case. It sounds like he got deported or took a voluntary departure, and his wife is filing a new I-130 for him, but he needs 2 waivers. He needs a waiver to return after either a voluntary departure or a deportation. Either way, deportation's 10 years, voluntary departure is 5 years. Either way, you need a waiver for that. And then you also need a waiver. He may need 2 waivers, a waiver for living illegally in the United States. But he needs the I-130 waivers and then go for an interview. Has nothing to do with I-485. And it sounds like he needs the help of a lawyer. I would not, when the word,
Desperately.
I was deported, I'm in deportation, I'm scared, I'm going, if there's the word deportation in your question, if the word deportation even enters in your mind, you should be calling us.
But how many times have we said that?
Every day we say it.
Deportation, arrest.
Correct.
You know.
I was just about to throw a rest in there.
Don't think filling out a form is going to work for you. Squeeze, you're a little out of, you're like half in, there you go.
There he is.
There he is. All right.
Angel wants to know, my I-90.
Somebody just stole Punxsutawney Phil. Somebody just stole Punxsutawney Phil.
Oh, he's going up on his own.
I wanted to like fall right in your lap, on your picture.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh my God.
Jill does it best.
Can you imagine? Can you picture Squeeze like when, like the show's over, like how he always likes to steal all the props from the prop department? Can you imagine he's going to
now I'm a criminal.
He's going to take Punxsutawney Phil home with him.
Now he's lambasting. Couldn't we get through this one
by,
show without some lambasting?
And when he's by himself at like 2 a.m, he's going to be like, "So Squeeze, what do you? Does anyone listen?" And he's like starts talking to himself.
Yeah, I'll talk to myself.
When Squeeze is lonely.
All of a sudden, I'm going to put on Instagram and there's Squeeze with Punxsutawney Phil.
I think you need that.
Well,
you need to have that.
You can have it. Cheers.
No. So this way, when you're home, not having nothing to do.
Yes.
And then you like to. You always need to have something in your hands.
That's correct.
So there it is. You can talk to yourself.
When you're definitely not hanging out with Magic Johnson, you can be hanging out with
Punxsutawney Phil. Right. All right. What else we got?
Michelle has a whopper of a question that I know how you're going to answer this. Can someone who obtained their citizenship in a fraudulent way have their citizenship then revoked?
Yes. If it is discovered that you fraudulently obtained citizenship. The United States just revoked, I believe, 76 people I read. I read the newspaper article. I don't know anything more about it. I didn't really follow it beyond the newspaper article. But I just read a newspaper article maybe a month or 2 ago that the United States just went to denaturalize 76 people. They have to do it. I know how it works. You have to go into the U.S. attorney has to go into federal court and make an application to denaturalize you. And they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you obtained your citizenship fraudulently. But it was about 76 people who were aggravated felons who either withheld that information from immigration or immigration just missed it, and they became citizens, and now they're getting denaturalized.
Wow.
That's what I said. Wow.
Yeah. Mimi on YouTube would like to know, I have a friend who's married and after a year she abandoned him. He's now dating someone and he wants to marry and he has a child with her. His card is currently expired. He is still married, but he has to handle it. How do you advise that he does that?
First step is get divorced, because you can't be married to 2 different people.
To another woman.
And I'm not sure what you mean by the card expired. Is it a 2-year card? A 10-year card? Are we actually even talking about a green card?
A green card.
I assume a green card. Why don't you get divorced and become a citizen at the same time? If you have a 10-year card, that means you've been a resident for more than 5 years. So why don't you can do a divorce and do citizenship simultaneously. One has nothing to do with the other. So this is how you handle it. I'm assuming that he has a 10-year card that's expired and he never went to renew it. File your citizenship, file a divorce. Both should come through simultaneously. Now you're a citizen, now you're free to get married, and now you marry the woman you love.
Poochie Poochie says.
Poochie Squeeze.
Poochie.
Poochie Poochie says, Mom is a green card holder for 4 years, but never worked from entering the U.S. because of illness. Is that going to pose a problem in filing for her children?
No, because she could always get an affidavit of support from the second person, but she will need one.
Okay. Mimi Shake wants to know, I have a friend who married and after a year she abandoned him. Oh, she asked this. I'm sorry. She asked the same question on Facebook and YouTube. Manny says, I have a friend who filed for her DACA since April 2017. How long is she going to have to wait to get approved for DACA?
I think Trump is holding everyone up until the Supreme Court decides.
Something weird is really going on, guys.
Forever.
Check to see if your thing is
My
live.
thing is working. My thing always works, Squeeze. Why, your thing doesn't work?
No, it's
I've never been accused that my thing doesn't work.
No, mine
are you talking about?
It's just, it says,
What?
this live video has
I've
ended.
been interrupted.
Yeah.
We're having mine is going live.
Yeah, it says
so
this live
everybody's
video has ended.
we're obviously having issues with Facebook, and we will get it all sorted out. We're going to ask Kim to speak to our content provider, Switchboard, not our content provider, our content distributor, Switchboard, content distributor, make sure that we're all okay for
well,
Monday. But a lot of people obviously are tuning out because the
I can tell
feed
you right
is
now
not.
if it's Facebook.
You can tell me if it's Facebook or not.
Right now.
How are you going to tell?
Give me less
Is
than
it
15
down?
seconds.
Squeeze says give him 15 seconds.
According to Down
He will, in
Reporter,
15 seconds, he's going to let us know two things. One, how he can get everybody's credit up. And two, whether it's Facebook or something else.
No,
It is not Facebook.
it's not Facebook. It has to be a content.
It is the content
Because
distributor.
if it was Facebook, it would be all over Twitter. All over Twitter. It would be all over Twitter.
The only people having problems with Facebook is us. Nobody else.
I have seen several things about Facebook Live videos being a little wonky
It's
in the
wonky
last
sometimes,
couple of
Squeeze.
hours.
Wonky.
Wonky.
You can say whatever you
Facebook
want.
Live specifically.
Okay, let's continue.
Westfield asks, I have a social security number and a work permit, but it's expired. How do I go about getting a new work permit? I've been working up here for about 6 years. Can I go ahead and apply for my green card?
No, there's no such thing as I'm working here for 6 years. I had a work permit. I don't have one anymore. I deserve a green card.
Right.
There's no such application as that. So we got to figure out how'd you get a work permit and what are you eligible for now. So you need a consultation.
Ainworth wants to know, can your wife call immigration on you when you're out of the country and tell them that you've abandoned her?
Sure. What is that going to do? You have a green card. They're going to be like, okay, thank you. You know, as long as you.
I hope he has a good
I hope you have
vacation.
a good vacation. I mean, what's it is what it is. Unless there's some sort of fraud involved, and even if it's fraud and they already approved the green card and he has a permanent green card, they're going to do nothing. And if he has a 2-year green card, well, he has to remove the conditions of his permanent residence. That's basically it.
Sophia asks, what happens if you did an interview for your green card and you're still waiting after 4 months for an answer whether you're denied or approved?
Well, obviously there's an issue. At 4 months, you need to contact a lawyer.
Angel asks, my I-90 form was taken from me at the airport, but when I applied for a job, they asked me for it. What do I say?
Why is a job asking for your I-94? I-94 doesn't authorize you to work unless you came here on a work visa.
I-90 form.
I-90 form. They're asking for your green card. So don't you have a stamp in your passport? Don't you have if you don't have a green card and you don't have a temporary green card in your passport, then you need to do a new I-90 and get proof that you're a lawful resident. You have to provide evidence on your first day of employment, not on your first week, not on your first month, but on your first day of employment, you have to show up with proof that you're legal to work in America.
Deborah asks, my mom filed for her children since 2010, and I'm doing their paperwork since November of 2016. It takes 11 weeks to hear from them every time I supply them with papers that they ask for. Is that correct?
No, what's correct is that you do everything right the first time. They ask you for nothing again, and they send you an approval letter. So it sounds like you're not doing what they're asking to do, and they keep asking for more stuff. Eventually, either you'll get approved or denied, but you're really spinning your wheels. You know what? Kim, let's do one or two more. We have two people on hold, and I got to get to Carmela about tax, and we got to get to USA Credit still. And then we'll come back to you at the end of our show. with our
That sounds
groundhog.
great. Stephanie asks, my husband died. Is it a problem to get my 10-year green card?
Well, as long as you can prove it was a real marriage, it's not a problem. You just have to file for a waiver based on the death of your spouse with proof that you and him lived together for some period of time after you got your green card. And my condolences, but also make sure your name is on the death certificate. You know how many times people get married to foreigners? I see this all the time. And they don't tell the family, even though it's a real marriage and they're really living together, they withhold the fact that they married from their mother, their sister. All of a sudden the spouse dies, and the husband dies or the wife dies, and the other surviving spouse shows up to the funeral, and then there's a whole fight between the family. What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
What are
And
you
it's
doing?
like a Jerry Springer thing at a funeral. And then all of a sudden, they come to see me and they're like, well, the family wouldn't put my name as the surviving spouse on the death certificate. That is, for lack of a more pleasant way to say it, really kills your immigration case as well. So, make sure you're on the death certificate.
Macduff wants to know, as a green card holder in the U.S. for 5 years, how long is it going to take to process your citizenship?
About 9 months.
Okay. Can I squeeze in one more?
One more.
Okay, Venus asks, my sister's purse was stolen and her green card was in it. She has a police report and wants to file for her citizenship. Can she go ahead and do it without the green card?
Yeah, as long as she knows the alien registration number or has a picture of it, it's fine.
Maurice wants to know, if at the end of the interview you get a notice that you are being held for review, but you haven't gotten any further information and there is no documents required from you, what does that mean?
Probably sounds like you're going to get a second interview.
Avis wants to know, can a citizen married to someone on a visitor's visa, can a citizen who is married to someone on a visitor's visa adjust, and if so, what is the waiting time?
Yes, but you got to marry after 90 days and the waiting time's 9 months. But 1 second, Squeeze seems to be very angry off camera right now. Why are you angry, Squeeze?
No.
What happened?
Nothing.
What happened?
Nothing happened.
Did you just see him just go crazy off camera for a second?
I didn't, because he was off camera.
Everyone in the booth just said, yeah, we just saw Squeeze just go absolutely crazy. That's why they did 2 boxes. They took you off screen because you were going crazy.
It's reaching
Squeeze,
that. It's reaching that time. I'm still waiting for that.
Squeeze is getting hangry.
I'm waiting for that pizza that was supposed to show up at 6:45 as we promised yesterday.
Excuse me, Jill. Can you show the lobster? The picture of the lobster I ordered. Squeeze. Tell him it's on his way. Can you just show that lobster, please? The picture of the lobster. All right. I showed Jill. I said, "You see this picture of the lobster?" I said, "Please get one for Squeeze," and she said, "Yes." Can you show the picture that I showed you for the lobster, Jill? Yeah, they're trying. They're
cooking the lobster.
They're cooking the lobster right now.
They're cooking the lobster.
If it's a lot of people in the comments are saying that it's because I steal your lotion, I'd like to clear for the record that I only do it when the door is wide open and the little thing of lotion is on the corner of your desk, just staring at me. Okay.
Listen, I'm an attorney, and I'm the last person to defend Squeeze. But I will tell you, Kim, his door's always closed, so we don't buy it. We do not buy it. We do not buy it. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jealous Shauna wants to know that everyone's ganging up on me. Oh, there's the lobster, Squeeze, that I ordered for you. I told Jill, I said, he sent me the picture of this lobster. Everyone's ganging up on me on Facebook. They're like, Brad, come on, you got to buy Squeeze dinner. Everybody, Jealous Shauna, Brad, where's Squeeze's dinner?
Thank you. It would be nice.
Beverly Thompson's like, it's food time for Squeeze, Brad. Come on. I don't know. Since when am I your waiter? I don't understand where I became the chef and the waiter here. Just a lawyer answering questions.
That's exactly what you want.
I don't know when I became the caterer for Squeeze.
You're the jack of all trades.
Apparently. All right, what else you got?
Tiffany wants to know, how do you change your address after doing a submission?
An AR-11. But if you change your address, you're going to the back of the line.
Andrea asked, I'm a green card holder for 1 year. I want to file for my 2 daughters who are both over 21 and unmarried and their children. How long is it going to take? I am married to a U.S. citizen.
7 years.
Andrea asks, My petition is by my sister was approved in 2010. When the petition was submitted in September of 2006, which was also the priority date, my son wasn't born yet. He was born in June of '08. As I'm now waiting for the visa, I've sent a letter to NVC back in January of last year saying that I had a son and providing them the new information. Is there anything else I need to do?
Did they write you, as long as they wrote you back and said the son has been included, that's fine. If you just wrote them a letter without a birth certificate, then write them a letter again and submit a copy of the birth certificate and say, please add my son to this file as an accompanying child.
And they'll send you back a letter that says we have
yes,
added your son?
Correct, or something to
Gotcha.
that effect. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but something like that.
Simone asks, I'm a green card holder for 5 years and I'm in the process of currently filing for my citizenship. I'm married to my kid's father for the last year and a half and he overstayed his tourist visa. Is that going to affect my citizenship and can I go ahead and file for him now?
File for him now. It will not affect his citizenship, and when you become a citizen, you'll upgrade it and file the adjustment.
Carol asks, how long is the wait after a VAWA approval? Also, can I travel on my 512 advance parole and return?
How long is the wait after a VAWA approval?
Yeah.
Well, if you did the VAWA the way that I would do it, I would do the VAWA and the adjustment simultaneously, so then when the VAWA gets approved, you get a green card. Sounds like you just filed the VAWA without an adjustment. So now you got to file an adjustment. And that's another 9 months if you haven't done it.
Willie asks, I'm doing a change of status, but I need a waiver. Do I file the waiver before the change of status?
You mean adjustment of status. You file the waiver at the interview when they say you're denied.
Natasha says, I have a friend that started her green card process a few weeks ago, but she said that on the form she was asked if she had worked in the U.S., and she said yes, because she had just worked as a babysitter for some people. She said she just wanted to be honest, but now she's really scared that she has said something wrong, and she's being petitioned for a parent.
Her parent?
By a parent.
By a parent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Under her a parent VAWA case.
Under her, okay. Well, the fact that you worked illegally shouldn't bar you to get a green card in that situation.
Ocean asks, my friend wants to know if she can get married to her boyfriend that did some time in prison and still get her green card. So the boyfriend, I think,
Yeah,
is
as long as
this
he's not a sex predator, yes. And he's out of prison, obviously.
Marilyn wants to know, what about if you came here as a kid and got your green card on arrival, your father became a citizen a few days afterwards, but then they deny the child's citizenship. What can you do?
Well, we have to take a look at it. We have to say, when did this happen? If it happened, if you were under 18, if you were over 18 as of February 2001, it's different laws than if you were under 18 in February of 2001. So first question is, when were you 18? The second question is, and you know, at that point, it can go 100 different ways. So assuming you were under 18 after February 2001, you're talking about the Citizenship Act, Child Citizenship Act of 2000, that Clinton did, and you have to prove that you not only lived with your father, he was a citizen, you had a green card, not only did you live with him, he had to have physical custody of you, which is the living, but also legal custody. The fact that you lived with him doesn't necessarily mean your father had legal custody. Legal custody is done by a court, or legal custody is a matter of law if you're married to the mother. If it's prior to 2001, different laws. So we have to figure out what happened. And I will tell you, many times immigration denies citizenship when they shouldn't, and sometimes they give citizenship when they shouldn't. It goes both ways.
So Rika asks, is it safe to fly domestically when you have an NTA? Can you be detained even if you have an NTA?
You could always be detained if you have an NTA, but what they can't do is put you in deportation twice. Okay, so an NTA is a notice to appear. You're already in deportation. They can't put you in deportation twice. So they know you. They know where you live. They know where you are. You have to show up to court. They can come knock on your door and arrest you. They can arrest you in court. The last thing they're going to do is make a scene in an airport and arrest you at an airport. So my odds are that it's fine. 99.9% fine.
Carol asks, what's the difference with from an I-245 waiver and an advanced parole?
An I-245 waiver and an advanced parole?
Yeah.
That's like asking what's a groundhog and what's an orange. Those are like completely different things. 245I is you have something in the system, a bona fide application filed by you or your derivative beneficiary of a bona fide application filed prior to April 30th, 2001, and you're physically here in December 2000. It entitles you to adjust when you're otherwise unable, as long as you have an approved visa petition that makes you eligible for a green card, and you pay a penalty fee. Advanced parole is advanced parole. It's a travel document that you get after you file your adjustment application to allow you to travel home and come back. That's a groundhog and an orange.
Right. Those are two completely different things.
Yes.
Sandy asks, my friend is married to a green card holder. She lives in Jamaica and he travels really often to visit. And she travels very often to visit her husband. Is this going to affect her when he files for her? She travels like every other month.
To come visit here in America?
Yeah.
It shouldn't. Her only issue is that once he files for her, it could cause her a problem at the airport coming in because she's shown an intent to get her green card. So it's not, the problem is not now it's a problem that he files for her. The problem is he can't travel anymore moving forward.
Okay, Ripley wants to know,
KFC.
how can I go about and adopt my grandson? He's currently in Jamaica and I want to file for him.
This is Ripley?
This is Ripley.
Okay,
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, Ripley, let me tell you how you do it. You used my joke.
Sorry.
You have to bring he has to be an orphan. So you can't go to Jamaica and adopt him. You got to bring him up as an orphan. That means the mother and father either have to be passed away or have their rights stripped by the courts in Jamaica, that they're not fit to be parents because they can't support the child, they've abandoned the child. It's a whole process to go through, so come see me first.
Rosie asks, if you put in for your citizenship, are you still okay to travel?
Yep.
Teddy says, can I apply for citizenship if I got parole in March of 2014?
What do you mean parole?
I don't know whether it's like a criminal parole or Real says, I submitted my 485 approved VAWA and waiting on an interview. Can someone who's traveling to the U.S. from Jamaica write my name on an immigration form to say that they're visiting me?
Yeah, but what's the problem? You're legal. As long as you're legal, yeah. It's not.
Right,
I wouldn't be saying I'm going to visit my friend who's out of status for the last 20 years.
But they can just write their name.
Yeah, of course.
Name can be anyone's.
Paulette.
It could be anyone's name. By the way, they could say they're coming to see Brad Bernstein.
Yeah.
They're not calling. No one, now all of a sudden everyone at the airport's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to see my friend Brad Bernstein.
They'll be like, how come so many people are coming to see you?
Brad Bernstein, yeah. What's going
Brad Bernstein.
And then they look you up and I'm like, oh, immigration attorney, huh?
Oh, that makes sense.
By the way, I'm talking about, and by the way, I'm joking around. You don't want to lie to immigration. And this is on the form on the plane, I assume, that you're filling out.
Yeah.
You have to put your address where you're going to be staying, and it's perfectly fine to say wherever you're going to be staying. But don't lie, because then you're going to have a problem, obviously.
Paulette wants to know, how long until the conditions of your green card are removed?
How long
does that take?
It's about 18 months.
Yes.
All right, so this is it. Any last questions?
I got two more that were
Okay, let's
squeezed in
go.
at the last second.
Let's go.
Cher asks, I'm filing married but separately. Will that affect removing the conditions off your green card?
Yes, because you're not having a financial relationship with your husband.
I just realized that they were talking about taxes.
Yes.
Married but separately. Kadeen asks, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. When I'm going to put in my paperwork, can I put my two children on it? And if so, how long is that going to take?
You don't put your children on your paperwork, although you have to list them on your paperwork. Your husband has to file two separate I-130s for them, depending on where they are. If they're here with you, they'll do adjustments with you. It'll take the same time. If they're in another country, it'll take a few months longer than you.
And lastly, Sheila says, is it necessary to file an I-767 and I-131 together with your I-485 if you do not need to work?
I-765. The answer is yes, because you'll get a social security number, you can get a state identification number, you need to walk around with things to prove you are who you are, you need a social security number to live in America whether you're working or not. Yes, file the I-765 because it doesn't cost a penny. You're paying for it anyway.
Okay.
And I can't believe this, but we have gotten through every single question.